Okay, so I've been asked to talk about the Emergency Banking Act and the Fireside Chats. Now, when Roosevelt came to power in November 1932, he had a period of what they call the lame duck months to get himself sorted. And one of the first things he did when he came to office was to bring in the Emergency Banking Act, which was an attempt to stop people running to the banks to take their money out and basically making the banks go bankrupt. Okay, he locked in a 4-day bank holiday, closed all the banks, and then only banks judged as secure were allowed to reopen after the bank holiday. Okay, now, that was a pretty good idea, but it would have only worked because of the Fireside Chats. Now, these were where chats that would actually buy a fireside, but the term was sort of coined to sort of show this kind of style of the chats, and more on that later. And maybe people sat around the fire and listened to Roosevelt. 90% of Americans owned a radio, so Roosevelt was able to speak directly to the people. And this was new, okay, it was innovative, and it's a question why people trusted FDR. He spoke in plain terms, often ad-libbing and often learning the speeches first, so that he had a more informal tone and people were prepared to accept him. And when he said in one of his first fireside chats that Americans needed to leave their money in the banks, that it was safer to have your money in the bank than it was under the bed, Americans listened to what he had to say. And basically it was a series of 30 chats over the years where he talked about a whole range of issues, really, to sort of link himself to the American people. People felt like he was actually speaking to them. He said I and you, as if he was talking directly to the people. So yeah, Emergency Banking Act set up to sort out the banking crisis, or to try to, in the short term, and then the Fireside Chats to try and gain the trust. So let's have a look at a bit more depth. Okay, so I've got some information on the Fireside Chats there. Just a little bit of depth about what I've said, really. Maybe worth just pausing the tape. Pause the tape. And just have a look and make sure you've got that detail down into your video. And yeah, here's some more information about the Fireside Chats. As I say, not actually sitting by the fire, but it kind of evoked the comforting intent behind Roosevelt's words, this idea of a fireside chat. He took care to use the simplest possible language to speak to the greatest numbers of Americans. So maybe just pause the tape and have a little bit of look at what's there. A little bit more depth here now on the Emergency Banking Act, okay. 4-day bank holiday. Within 3 days, 5,000 banks have been given permission to reopen. And then passed the 1933 Banking Act came later that year, basically guaranteeing deposits up to $5,000. Okay, so again, maybe pause the tape and just add a bit more detail into your work.